All right, Chief. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another star-studded episode of Keeping It Real. We got a doozy for you today, so let me hit the intro real quick, and we will be back with some amazing stuff. And every single time I play that intro, I got to give a shout out to my man, Chris Carpenter at K Socialized Media, because that is pretty sick, right?
I love it. Looks good.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got a return appearance today, episode 21, which was like, I don't know, a long time ago, really. It was
like forever.
My stuff at my office and it was my like original setup. So, we've definitely grown as adults in the last 21 episodes. I'm sure both of us. So, I'd like to welcome back my amazing friend, confidant, comrade, colleague, compatriot, Mr. Dimitri Vouvoudakis in Indian Trail, North Carolina. What is up to my friend, Coach V?
Everything is up, man. It's been great. The weather's been a little cold here. I know you guys don't get too much of that there in Texas, but we've been enjoying some snow these last few weekends, and it's given me some time to really buckle down and focus on business, and it's been good. So yeah, there's definitely been a lot of growth in the last 21 episodes for sure.
I love it. Yeah, actually, dude, I'll tell you the truth. I'm here in College Station, right? It is February 3rd, and it's 7:30 in the morning right now as we start discussing our life. And dude, the entire city shut down. Everybody shut down. All the doctors, all the schools, everything is done. And I kid you not, it's like 40 degrees out and it's not even raining. I love it. I remember when I was in Charlotte. Okay, this is a funny story. I was in Charlotte for like 2.5 years, as you know. And I used to live over there on South Tryon, kind of like sort of in the hood, but not really. But there's an argument on either side there. And I remember the one day that I was there, and the 2.5, we got a little bit of snow. And dude, it was insane. It was like I went to the store and all the bread and all the milk and everything was gone. And like everything was just, holy cow, we're all finished. There's like a 1/16 of an inch of snow, or there's like,
it melts within an hour of hitting the ground.
It's amazing though. Here in Texas yesterday, it's foggy out, right? Just a little bit of fog. It was completely dry. It was like 70 degrees, but there was some fog. And I don't know, dude. People are going like 10 miles an hour with their hazards on the freeway, and they just ain't got it like we do. So anyway, enough harping about how awesome we are with weather and all. What is going on, my friend? How's everything going? It's been 21 episodes since we talked. Let me know what's been going on since the 21. How's everything looking?
Everything's good. I'm pretty sure the last time we spoke was a little bit closer to the fall time, I believe. And we were going through our harvest or just before it. And now we're post-harvest, got a lot of products on the market, and just real busy, starting to do more of the sales aspect of the business rather than the farming, so to speak, and really learning a lot about the industry and different techniques and things that work and don't work, which, like I said earlier on the previous time, you can relate sales to almost any industry, as you know, and I feel like I'm starting to learn a lot about other industries that are connected to mine because I'm starting to network. And, when you're in sales, the way you talk to people and the things that you find out about products and customers, you develop a lot as a person. And I feel like that's what's happened with me. And it's given me more motivation to be more organized and, just do all the things that a good salesman does, even though I am one of the owners of the company. I still have to step in and play other roles to be able to, make the money and make things happen.
For sure, dude. I know how that works. Trust me. So for anybody that wasn't on board with Keeping It Real, I'm not going to lie. The audience has like multiplied by about 20 since that episode we were on. Why don't you tell our fans a little bit about your company and what y'all do, what you provide? Because I think it's amazing. And I think you're you're doing something pretty freaking badass. So tell our fans a little bit about it.
All right. Well, I am part owner of a company called Garden of Panacea. Information right here.
Word.
We are a hemp growing company, hemp farm, but we also do other things. We do produce, microgreens, exotic indoor plants. It's just anything that's green and grows and, you know, has some sort of health benefit. We're definitely wanting to put our fingers in it and get it growing, you know, not just as a company, but it provides people with health and wellness. And, you know, that's one of our goals, is to bring this to the world. I know hemp is what they call, you know, on the fence. Some people think it's just like marijuana, and yes, it's technically the same plant, but it, you know, has a completely separate aspect when you're looking at CBD and Delta 8 and all these legal cannabinoids. And we're really just looking to bring health to the masses. And it's hard to do as a small farm, but everyone has to start somewhere. Just like a roofing company, they're going to start with one pickup truck and their first roof, you know. So we're right now on 1 acre of land, and it's our second year growing. And we're just trying to make our little way into the industry and hopefully become something bigger. We're a company of only 4 workers, employees, and all 4 employees are part owner. So we all split it 25%, and we all have our roles. 2 of our guys, one of them's my cousin, and one of them's a young gentleman that I met about 1.5 years ago who was going to school for horticulture. And now I brought them both on, as well as my wife, Ashley, and we're all 25% owners. And, you know, we do everything we can to push our brand and push, you know, the whole aspect of the plant to be legal. You know, it shouldn't be only this part of it is, or only that part of it is. I mean, this thing is been going on for years and years and years, and it's just needs a little bit of a push to make it nationwide, you know, so that everybody understands. And I don't think it's that far off. We're only a couple years away from everything really falling into place and things really blossoming for everyone in the industry that's been able to last through all these hard times.
Yeah, no doubt. I think there's a huge shift. You can see, I mean, the medicinal purposes and all that stuff, you know, a lot of states, I don't even know the statistics, but, you know, have accepted this now, you know, whereas 10 years ago, none of this is even a thing, right? Like this wouldn't even be considered. It'd be completely taboo and just off limits. But you guys have, you know, started this deal out of, you know, labor of love type thing. What does it look like when you got 4 full-time people and you're trying to build something that's going to be, you know, super powerful? And I know that there's so much technical information that goes in. You've already used like 4 words I don't even know. So you get in there and it's like, okay, we're going to do this. You've got 4 people. So obviously you honed in and found the specialists and the people that you wanted to work with. How do you get this thing off the ground? Like, how does the initial, like, hey, we're going to do this, to, hey, look what we just did? How's that look?
It's really no different than any other industry. For example, you know, you're in the roofing industry. You have how many different brands of shingles that you could go sell to a customer right now?
About 6,000.
Oh,
what happened?
You
getting a call?
No, I don't know what it did. It just cut me out. There you go.
You're totally good. You didn't disappear on my side at all.
Oh yeah, you disappeared. Something popped up on my screen. And all right. So just like the roofing industry, like I said, you know, you have a ton of different shingle brands that you could sell to people. Now, I'm assuming you guys have a select few that you push, that you support, that you are loyal to, right?
Absolutely.
And the reason that you've chosen that line of products, I'm sure, is because in some way, shape, or form, they've set themselves apart from everyone else in the industry.
Without a doubt.
So that's what we looked to do when we came into the industry. We tried to be something that nobody else was, because in this day and age, if you're not standing out, you are falling in line. And that's the last thing you want to do as a new business, is fall in line. Because once you're in line as a new business and you fall far back into the line, you eventually close up shop. So we did our research, you know, and there's a ton of CBD companies out there doing tinctures, which is our main product that we push. And it's all people that don't have a farm. It's people that are going and buying products and mixing them together to sell you a final product of something they've really done minimal work to provide you with. And there's a ton of that stuff out there. And a lot of those products have chemicals in them. They use solvents to create what they need to make the tincture. So we wanted to make sure that we stayed away from that as much as possible. And I did, my legwork to find a company here in Pineville, North Carolina, only about 30 minutes from us, that does all natural direct full plant fusion. They don't extract things from the plant and then put them into an oil. They literally put the plant into the oil with a special formulation and provide you an all organic product with no solvents. They use heat, water, and pressure. No different than a pressure cooker, So we chose that route, and we made an all-in-one state product. We grow it here, we process it here, we bottle it here. Our graphic design for our labels is done here. And now we have a product that is completely clean, great for health stores, great for dispensaries, great for people who have actual health problems. Because when you have a health problem, you don't want to put something bad in your body. You want to keep it clean. You want to keep it, as natural as possible. So this is how we decided to set ourselves apart and to keep it very small scale. Don't get me wrong. Everybody wants to make a whole bunch of money, but the bigger you get, as you've probably learned as you guys expand branches and you have to hire new people, the further you get from your core group of individuals who truly do love and care about your brand, the less love and care goes into your brand. And we have a motto that we have on the farm, and I'm pretty sure I spoke about this the last time we were on, something that I truly believe throughout the season that kept us apart from all the other farms in the area was every single plant, every single day. If you give every single plant the same attention every single day, there's no way you don't come out with a superior product, because there's so many of these farms out here that want to grow for the bulk. They want to grow 20, 30 acres of hemp and sell it all to one person at one low price to pay for their season. And you're putting all this work in to create a subpar product, just like there's subpar roofing out there. Sure, you can go buy shingles probably half the cost of what you sell to your people and make a bunch more money, but that product's not going to work as well. And they're eventually going to be calling you with complaints. And then you're not going to last long in the industry, because people are going to realize that you're providing a lower rate product and you're still trying to charge an arm and a leg. So we've seen all the different aspects of CBD and how other companies were approaching it. And we just wanted to take those notes as what not to do. We tried to not follow any other footprint, because in 2018, when they passed the Farm Bill, and I don't even know how many companies opened up, because it gave so much opportunity for this plant to be used, and everyone that's been waiting jumped on board. And too many of them didn't have any education on it, especially the farmers. I am not a farmer, not even in the slightest. And I got into the industry because I knew people in the extraction world. I knew people in the dispensary world. So I took other avenues of my networking and then found a way to get into farming. The problem in 2018 was so many farmers got into hemp and knew nothing about the industry. They didn't know where to send their product. They didn't know how to process their product. They didn't know who to sell it to. They were completely blindsided. And now they all went out of business because they couldn't sell the hemp that they put all this money into. So I was kind of glad that I had a couple of years to see this happen, see how it developed, and see what happened to these companies, where they went wrong, and talk to a bunch of people. And then in 2020, at the end of the year, we decided we're going to go ahead and start one up. And we're here almost a year and a half later from date of conception, and we're on the up and up. We're not in the green yet after putting all the money into it last year and getting set up for this year's grow. We have a lot of product, and we're starting to make our way into the industry, our little footprint. And it's by being unique. It's by being different. It's by not doing it just because I want the money. I'm doing it because I have 3 other people next to me that show up every day with the same passion that I have for this. And that's what makes it work. It's what you put into it is what you get out of it. And, we're trying to put everything we have into it, not just blindly. You got to do your research first. Before you go see a customer, you're going to take a look at their house from an aerial view. You're going to do all your research, try and see what kind of shingles they already have on there, what issues they're having. You're trying to get as much information before you're face to face as you possibly can, so you can look as educated as possible, because that's a good approach. That's what we wanted to do. We tried to get as much information about our customer, the industry, as possible before we stepped into it. And I feel like that kind of gave us a leg up. And I think networking. I think networking is the biggest thing in any industry. I got very lucky with the people that I met and who they knew. And, because of the way I carried myself and the things I've done over the last few years to get to where I'm at, they saw enough in me to put me into their networks and, give me their backing, their support, saying, hey, I vouch for this guy. He knows what he's talking about. He puts in the effort. He's someone good to do business with. And that's how you get more opportunities.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I'll go right on record now. I vouch for this guy too, 100%. So you get into this, it's not a niche market at this point, because like you said, there's a huge influx of like everybody and their cousin. You're going to the gas stations now all over the country, and you see every, buy this stuff here at the gas station, right? Okay.
Yep.
I'm not planning on seeing any Garden of Panacea products in a gas station, right? You're already well above this. So the question I have is, in sales, like you said, it's always a couple of things that you have to take into consideration: quality, price. If you've got all these little cheap options, you got all these little gas station brands and all the little, whatevers that people are doing at flea markets and stuff that is not on that level, but it's a lot cheaper. Who do you focus on, I guess, for your products? How do you know where to look to find the people that you need? Who do you network with? Obviously you're not trying to fit into the crowd. You're trying to be above. And it's just an interesting thing for me, because it's the same, with everything you do. Roofing is the same way. If everybody does the exact same thing, we're all the same. If everybody goes and door knocks on one house and says, hi, I'm here to do a free inspection, and if you have damage, we can do insurance. Well, who the hell are you? You're like number 5 or number 300 or number 2. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So how are you separating yourself? Where are you marketing your product where people can actually find it? And,
well, the first thing you do is you have to look at your product of what you're selling, and you have to have a target market. You can't just have the idea of, oh, I want to sell to everybody, because anybody who tries to please everybody will end up failing.
For sure.
That's just the plain facts of it. I don't care how great you are in any industry. If your goal is to please every single person, you will fail, because it is impossible to please everybody. So you got to take a look at your product and why you created that product. We wanted something that was clean and healthy and set us apart from everything else. So we look for that market that's clean and healthy and sets themselves apart from everything else by the people who shop at, I don't want to say designer stores, but it's more of a higher class market, so to speak. Instead of selling to someone who's going into a smoke and vape shop, we're looking to sell to someone who's going into a CBD dispensary for medicinal purposes. Someone who's going into a place that they can talk to the person behind the counter about not just the products, but about the science behind the products. Because if I walk into a tobacco shop or a vape shop or a smoke shop that's selling water pipes and all those other things for the recreational crowd, and I go to the guy behind the counter and I ask him a question about his CBD tincture that's tucked in the back on the shelf collecting dust, he's going to say, yeah, it's good. That's it. I don't want my product to be represented by someone who does not have stake in the industry. The vape and smoke world doesn't have stake in the CBD world. So I'm looking for health stores. I'm looking for CBD dispensaries. I'm looking for consignment stores that carry boutique style stuff, and they have little vendorships where people can come in, rent a little space, put their products in, and sell from there. I want farm to table. I want that rustic crowd that appreciate the effort that was put into a product and want to shop local. As much as I want my product to be out to the masses in the entire nation, I know if it gets that big, my product is no longer as good as it needs to be. So I'm cool being the local Charlotte, boutique shop and the boutique grow. That's ideal.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte's a pretty nice sized city. You could make a nice living just working there, I mean, that's awesome. So you guys get this up and going. You go through your first season, you kind of iron out bugs and stuff. What's that first season look like? What kind of mistakes did you guys find? What kind of procedural things did you have to alter after the fact because you realized, okay, we could have done this better. This could have been more effective, could have been quicker, whatever. What obstacles do you come across and how do you overcome them?
So many, just like in any industry, you know, you're gonna run into expenses that you had that you really didn't need, and you didn't realize till a while later that it was a waste of money. There's going to be tasks that you set out for your people to do, not realizing what the outcome is going to be because it's the first time we're doing it. You know, we spent a lot of time last year prepping the land to be able to plant in ground because we had this idea of growing in the native soil, but it wasn't as easy as we expected. And we ended up spending a lot of time and money to prep land on a property that we were only renting. You know, we were only there temporarily, and we wanted to, I guess, do more than we should have. So that was one thing. You know, we did too much prep on something that wasn't ours. Now we're on my land, and everything we do obviously is permanent. So we're having to redo everything we did last year for the most part, but we learned from the things that didn't work last year in these situations and now. So even though we do have to technically redo everything again to get set up here, at least we know what works, what doesn't work, and when it needs to be done by. And we're already way ahead of schedule. Last year at this time, you know, we were still running around with our heads cut off, trying to get ready for the first season. And, you know, we're only 2 or 3 weeks away from putting seeds in the ground. So it was kind of like scary last year. Now it's, everyone knows what they need to do. And even outside of just the grow season, just what needs to be done on the business side of it, like the paperwork and keeping up with all that stuff, we've learned. We know everything that we forgot to do last year or put off till the end of the year or didn't keep up with weekly or daily. Now we're doing those things. We're trying to make sure every step of the way we're keeping track of it, because as we do grow as a company, you know, we're going to get busier, and it's going to get to a point where us core 4 aren't going to be able to handle every little bit of what goes on. So we're taking everything from last year and all the notes we took, and everyone's kind of taking more of a personal stake in what they learned last year and using that and taking our own, I guess, different jobs. Even though we're all working for the same goal, we've kind of learned our lanes, and everyone's staying in their lane, doing what they need to do for the company rather than everybody trying to do everything. So it's just a lot more organized, because you see where the waste happened the previous year when you go through all your numbers and you're getting ready for taxes, and you're like, why did we buy all these things that are now sitting in a shed that we're not using? So we learned a lot. And because our 2 growers, my cousin Dimitri and Clayton, they took notes. They made sure they kept track of all the things they were doing. They, you know, all the nutrients they used, when they had to spray for pesticides. All the things are in a book, written down, almost like a Bible that we can follow now. The first year, we were writing the Bible and, you know, making a lot of mistakes, having to erase this and cross this out and chalk that one up to a loss. And, you know, every loss that we encountered last year, it kind of took us back for a second. But in any industry, in anything, period, any loss that you encounter, if you don't turn that loss into a learned lesson, then you're never going to come back from that loss.
Damn, that's pretty powerful right there. I love it. You hit on something really cool there, and I want to really dig into this one. You started off at a facility that was not yours. You put a ton of work, a bunch of money into it, and then decided, or how did you decide, or was it decided for you that you're going to get out of this place? You're going to then go, and I've been to your home numerous times. I know you didn't have any giant greenhouses or anything there. There's a huge investment involved in that. There's a lot of work. At what point in the process, obviously very early on, did you think, okay, this is going to work, so we are now going to take this next step? We're going to dive in and, you know, commit 100% to building something, to put it on your property, and, you know, now having a more long-term mindset about it.
Well, it's not just long-term, it's more so financial, because having a place that you're paying to be at monthly, plus putting money into it to make it what you need, and then when you leave there, all the money you've put into it is gone. Like,
yeah,
no getting it back. And, you know, it was definitely a unique situation that we were in, being that we were renting the property from a gentleman that was allowing us to use his license umbrella to grow underneath him. And so that was the reason we were there. But then, you know, throughout the year, we've done our steps to get our own licensing, and now we're able to do it on our own. So by me going from there to coming onto my own property, I'm now saving, you know, tens of thousands of dollars this year just on not paying to be somewhere. So right off the bat, it was, it had to be done. Even like halfway through last season, I was already starting to think of, I'm not trying to put this much money into it again next year and the year after. I need to find a permanent solution to be able to continue to do this.
Yeah. And so you make the decision, you're getting ready to do this. What's the facility? What does it look like? How big? How much
right now
expense is involved in it?
Right now, it's just outdoor. We only start the seeds inside to be able to ensure that, the seedlings grow to a proper height before we transplant them outside. And we just use one of my buildings here on site. I have a garage and 2 sheds. So we're able to retrofit one of the sheds to be able to be an indoor grow to get everything started. And then as they're ready to move outside, we have about an acre of land that we're going to transplant them into.
Nice. I like that. So that's pretty amazing stuff. I know, we've known each other for about 12 years now. You're one of the most thought-provoking people that I've ever met. And I was so interested in this because it's like, this fits your personality totally. I mean, we've been friends. We know this fits your personality. This is something you've been passionate about for at least 12 years, probably before we ever met.
I'd go ahead and double that.
Yeah, right. And you were like 3 at that point. So that's pretty good. It's a lifelong passion. It's something you've done, with a small core group, your wife and a couple friends. And, I love the fact that you don't want it to get super, super huge. But at the same time, what are you going to do if it starts to get super huge? You just going to go with it? Or are you going to put a cap on what you want to do? Obviously, being that it's a labor of love and you're more focused on the quality, that's a decision you get to make down the road. So what happens if someone hits on this, like Mark Cuban's watching Keepin at Rio and he decides he wants to be a part of this thing. And he says, hey, dude, let's go nationwide. Let's go worldwide. Is that something you would ever consider? Or are you just pretty much saying, screw it, I don't want anything to do with that because life is good and the stress level is right where I want it to be? And
I have no desire to be the big, conglomerate that is the biggest name in America for CBD or hemp. Yeah, that's cool for the clout. I'm not in this for people to know who I am or what I do. I'm in it to help people. Now, don't get me wrong. With what you're saying, by it going nationwide, yes, it helps that many more people. But at what cost to my health, to my family, to the time that I've worked so hard to gain, to then just give it all up to be completely swamped again?
Dude, that's awesome. Most people don't think that way, and that's what's wrong with the world. That is so, so good. And myself, I have to think about this all the time. I have the roofing company, right? And I would have never guessed I'd have 3 locations. It's insane when I even think about it. It still hadn't even been 3 years for me. And my initial thing was, I want to have 50 of them, and I want to do $100 million. And I just want all this, like you said, cloud. That's all it was. And the further I get into it, it's like, man, I'd rather have 3 that I can operate at 100%, where I can still manage to go and be present at all of them and actually, be someone that the people that work there even know. There's guys in my own organization right now that don't even know me, that have been with the company for, a few months. And I've lost track of the ability to do that based on just circumstances. And I want to get back to that point. And, I really think about it a lot now. And it's like, I don't want to do $50 million. I don't want to do $100 million. That sounds awesome until you realize doing what we're doing. Yeah. I need to multiply it by 20. And I just don't have it, So I'd rather be the number 1 rated 5-star Google guaranteed that uses the best stuff and is usually never going to be the cheapest. If something's, if we're cheap, somebody screwed up, and provide value. With our company, we do things a little different. Roofers are, a strange bunch. There's a lot of different mindsets.
My fair share at Capital City.
Exactly. There's a huge variation between, one guy over here and a company over here and so on and so forth. People working in their sheds, people that have, multi-million-dollar facilities. And, everybody starts off thinking they're going to conquer the world. And I think it's awesome that you could get kind of realistic with yourself that early on and say, you know what, it's not worth all that. And I think that's what I admire the most about you, is you've always been a dude that's just like, you know, totally legit. You're going to do this and it's going to be exactly how you planned it, because you thought it out, you've done the work. And I'm proud of that, because that's pretty amazing. I believe that you're not going to get overtaken by this, and it's going to be something that's, you know, it's special for life.
Yeah, I definitely would like to, you know, eventually open up a storefront for the Garden of Panacea and have our own CBD dispensary where we carry only our products and other products that we think are up to par with our standards. And then to be in the shop, maybe not every day, but, you know, a few days a week, and for the next 20, 30, 40 years until I want to retire. I don't want to be seeking out 30 forms of business to be a multimillionaire and all these things. Now, I do have other endeavors that I've, you know, put money into. I have a graphic design company that we spoke about the last time I was on here. I have a small pressure washing company that I operate occasionally. And, you know, I do things to have other sources of income when I've seen an ability or an opportunity in that industry. I'm not just going to go start something to start something. If I know someone who needs something and I see that I can get started with that, that's how I get my foot in the door, you know? So I'm not looking to be so rich that, you know, my kids never have to work. I know every parent wants to do better for their kids and wants their kids to do better than they did. And I feel like I'm accomplishing that for my parents as well as they did, and as well as they brought me up, but they still had time to spend with me. So now I don't want to get away from that, because I feel like that has a huge part of who I am and why I believe the things I believe. And I don't want to get away from that by working all the time, because I remember my parents being around every single weekend. You know, every Sunday we'd go do something together. There's always the memory of family. So I want to make sure my kids have that too, because if they only see me working, yeah, they're going to have everything they want, but then they're going to grow up and have no values whatsoever, because all they ever saw was their dad out working. And I don't want to be that person. I want to make sure that I make enough money so that they're well taken care of. But after college, they're going to get jobs and they're going to work just like I did. They're going to make their own money. You know, don't get me wrong. I'll buy them things, get them a car, help them get a house, all those things. But they're going to do exactly what I did. They're going to work, whether it's working on their own and, you know, going and getting a job somewhere after college, or if they want to come work for one of my companies or take over one of the companies. I'll give them opportunity, but I'm not going to, you know, give them everything.
Yep. That's awesome. Because again, that's not the modern mindset for you know, everybody's spoiled right now, and everybody gets really pissed if they don't get something, you know, amazing instantly. So I always appreciate the, hey, let's work towards it. Let's earn it. Let's make it happen on our own approach. Because I mean, like I said, we've known each other 12 years. We met at a place where literally I walked into work one day and they're like, hey man, you want to go to North Carolina? We're going to open up a branch and you can go down there and do it. And it's like, yeah, let's go, man. I didn't have any idea what I was getting into, right? We show up and I didn't even know the dude I was working with till the day we met in the parking lot, and put in the work, dude. Put in the freaking work. I've been doing this for 24 years now. And you know, I mean, I left my home in Ohio to go to a complete unknown. It didn't pan out the way that I'd hoped. So it's like, all right, I can either sit here and sulk, I can cry about it, I can, you know, do something that I don't want to do, or I can just walk in one day and be like, you know what, this isn't my thing. I appreciate the opportunity, but I got to go. And I moved, you know, halfway across country again, just because you got to put in the effort. And if you put in the effort, it's a lot more rewarding than, you know, just having shit handed to you. And that's a lesson. There's a lot of people on this planet right now that need to understand and learn. I don't want to go off on a little tangent, but yeah, something happened the other day that's got me a little pissed off. And it's, you know, stuff like that, where people that don't put in the work feel like they deserve, or feel like, you know, they can take shots at you because you've done the work.
Yeah.
And, you know, screw those people. That's not how we are. So I love it. We talked earlier, you know, you're more now getting into sales, which to me is like the coolest thing ever, because I was never a sales type person. You know, when I worked with you over at the old CCRS, I was the phone answering dude, basically like a robot. Yeah. And all I had to do was say, okay, there's 7 things. And whoever called me, if they told me they needed 6 of them, I can look like a superstar by being like, hey man, you forgot your accessory paint or whatever. and there was never any skill involved, right? It was just, yo, can I help you? You know, tell me what you need and I'll make it happen. I move over to the other side where I'm now selling to people, and I really had to like learn psychology. I had to learn how to, you know, frame the scenario so it benefits the homeowner, so it's, you know, not something that goes on for hours. You know, not as a natural salesperson, I've come to find that people just really want to work with people that they like, people that they can relate to, and people that are cool, right? So I don't feel like you're having any issues as a salesperson, but what does it look like? You go out and market yourself locally. You know, you're trying to find a very specific group that you're wanting to work with. So how's this look? You find a place like a high quality dispensary or a boutique, like you say, you walk in. How do you present your company in order to get yourself in the door and make that opportunity happen?
Well, the first thing you got to do is your recon. You can't just walk in a place and think you're going to get enough information from the front door to the desk to be able to sell that person your product. That's just the reality of it. If you think you can do that, go home now, because you're going to be highly disappointed when that person turns you down. And I can promise you that, because I've been that person. Cocky, oh, I'm going to walk in here, see their store, be able to make a read on them and sell them my product. No, you get slapped in the face right away. You want to go in there with no intention of selling them anything. You go in there, look at their products, how they put it on the shelf, what kind of products they carry, ask them about their products, how they speak about their products. After that experience, I may not want my products in that store. So I do that before I'm going to go in there and say, hey, I have this product that I want to give you. I go in there and I figure out everything I can about what they do for their products, which products they're pushing, and why they're pushing it. Because even with the roofing company, you're going to ask, hey, why are you guys selling Atlas shingles and not Certainty? You know, there's a reason behind it. I want to figure out what that reasoning is to see what kind of company they are. If they're picking their products simply because they're getting them as cheap as they possibly can and selling them for the highest markup, cool. I have no desire to do business with you, because I'm going to spend more time trying to convince you why my product is better than I would with someone who wants a better product.
Yeah, dude, your internet's kind of jacked up just here for a second. I don't know what happened, but when you see the video, you're gonna laugh at the facial expression you're making right here on camera. There you go. Now we're good again. You will laugh at the facial expression, though. It was classic, and I'm not going to cut it out just because that's the kind of guy I am.
I wouldn't expect anything else from you, Chuck.
Right? We got to have fun. That's the most important thing. So
this is, as I was saying. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. So I go in and I want to get all that information first, so that when I go in there and sell them my product, I'm not having to ask them questions, because I've already asked the questions. I'm going in there and showing them why they need this product, why they don't have something like it, and the market that they can tap into once they have it. You have to provide them with not just the product, but everything after the product, how they're going to sell it, how they're going to inform their customer about why this is better. So we wanted to have a lot of, promotional, informational stuff to give to the distributors to be able to give to the consumer. Because so many times you walk in and you buy a product and they don't give you anything but the product. You don't have the information behind the product and why it is. Like, just for example, if a homeowner goes into Lowe's and they buy a bundle of shingles, what on that bundle of shingles lets them know about that company or how they made their product or why it's better? Nothing. They have no connection to the consumer. So we wanted to provide information that they can give to the consumer. We created an entire pamphlet that explains everything about our products, everything about who we are as a company, and the process we use to create our products, so that the consumer can see it, have it, and read about it on their own. We don't have to rely on the person behind the counter to represent us. We've created a full experience to represent ourselves. We have a little card that explains all of our different products. On the back, it gives them the process, how it's made. They can go to the website of the company that we use to do the processing, show complete transparency. We're not trying to hide anything. We have our certificates of analysis posted on our website. So when they scan our products, they can see exactly what's in it, down to the last milligram of every little bit that's in there. There's no hidden anything.
Transparency is key, right? Especially
Yep.
when you're trying to get in and you know, set yourself apart, because a lot of people, like you say, it translates across the universe. A lot of people don't know what they're doing in your industry, in my industry, in every industry across the board. And, you know, misinformation gets out there. People, you know, have preconceived notions about stuff. You're fighting an uphill battle to start, you know, really, in truth. And, you know, being able to do that, to educate people is crucial. You know, I use my own mother as an example with CBD, right? Like, she was, you know, having pain issues. She had, you know, some stuff that was going on. And I said, hey, you know, why don't you try some of this? And she's like, I never would do drugs. I would never do that, you know? And it's like, no, look, if you read into it and you actually understand, you know, she was completely on board, you know. She said, oh, well, I didn't know that. I was against this because I thought it was that. And, you know, that's the whole deal. But we're going to get that taken care of. You're going to be at the forefront, and you're going to be like the premier dude in North Carolina. Um, that's pretty awesome though, because already you're separating yourself. I mean, you know, you can literally go in any gas station here in Texas and you can get like little vapes, or you can get little, you know, whatevers. They even got the little flower jars and stuff. And it's like, okay, dude, you know, where's this coming from? What is it? And nobody knows, but people are still buying it because they're, you know, I guess wanting to be cool or whatever, and thinking that's quality.
No,
It's not.
no,
So
definitely not.
yeah, I love that. I love the fact that you educate everybody, because you are the most detailed and thorough person I've ever met. So
Thank you.
when your products go out, they're going to be amazing. You're going to have it down to the milligram, like you said, and all the little measurements are going to be spot on and perfect every time, because it's just the dude you are. Like, you know, perfectionist is what it is. I forget where I was kind of going with that there, but it's, you know, it's a lot of cool opportunities. You get to go out and you get to market your product. You get to see, you know, who your target audience is and find them and nail them down and do it. Let me ask you this. You've got the information. Let's talk a little bit about the different products you guys have. What do you offer as far as, you know, everything? What's on the board? What can people get when they get to your website or they find you at the market? And how is it going to benefit what types of problems? If
There,
that makes
there
sense.
are several avenues that we are currently getting into. The only thing we have currently for sale, ready to go, are our hemp seed oil tinctures. We carry 4 different hemp seed oil tinctures. They are full spectrum, meaning that they have all the cannabinoids, not just CBD. They even have, you know, trace amounts of delta 9 THC, but it's within the legal limit, well under the legal limit actually. And it's because having those cannabinoids in there give you the, you know, the full efficacy of what the plant has to offer. A lot of the other products out there that are technically in the same realm as ours, being the tinctures, they're extracting just CBD and then putting the CBD into hemp seed oil or MCT oil or coconut oil or whatever their carrier oil is. So when you're getting a CBD tincture from someone else or a lot of other companies, you're getting just CBD. And, you know, that's really not super effective. So we wanted to create a product that had all the cannabinoids in them and provide good efficacy for the consumer when they get the product. I didn't want them to have, you know, just a single aspect of the plant, because that's only so good. Just imagine shingles were made out of one thing, just tar. There was no granules on them. They wouldn't be as effective. They'd still repel water, but they wouldn't last as long. They wouldn't have any grit. You know, there's just so many different aspects you have to think of in a product to make sure that it is providing what the final consumer needs. You don't want to just focus on your distribution. So we weren't trying to have 30 different products to be able to satisfy a distributor, someone who wants to carry our line of products that they can make a bunch of money on. We stayed away from that. We went specific. Most companies can't do a strain specific. And when I say strain specific, there are different plants in the world. Every plant is a different strain. So there are several different marijuana strains, CBD strains. There's thousands of them. So when you can create a strain specific tincture, that strain specific tincture provides all the cannabinoids for ailments that strain would help, whether they smoked it or vaped it or took an edible. So we wanted to make sure we captured that to show people that we're doing our research and creating a product fine-tuned for specific things. So 2 of our tinctures that we carry, one of them I have right here. Let's get that in the light. Sweet Wife, 1,500 milligrams of CBD. This is a strain specific. The strain is called Sweet Wife. So it's a very invigorating type of strain. It's got a lot of sativa blends in it. Or sorry, not sativa blends, sativa terpenes in it. So it's going to be better for a daytime tincture, something that's going to help you get through your day, give you a little bit of mental clarity, a little bit of energy to be more focused, to not feel so, drained and overwhelmed with what the day has to bring, So with that one, we spent several weeks formulating with the company that made our tinctures to make sure that we were getting all the different parts of the plant. The way that they take the cannabinoids out of the plant to put it into the oil is a one-step process. So they have to make sure that they're getting the formulation correct for the specific cannabinoids and terpenes in that strain before we run the process. So we made sure that we're creating not just a clean product, but something that there's not really another company doing right now. Strain specific is so hard because not everyone can have enough of one type of flower creating their own product. Everyone's going out and just buying CBD distillate that's been extracted from all different types of flower from all over the country and then putting it into oil. And they're also extracting terpenes from those same plants and then re-putting them in. So they're actually using lesser, I don't want to say lesser quality product, but there's just more stuff in their product that you don't need. So like I said, we went strain specific with 2 of ours, the Sweet Wife and our Blackjack, which I don't have the bottle with me, but I have the card here. And it's a 2,500 full spectrum hemp oil. It will help you sleep immensely. I take it every single night to make sure that I'm sleeping through the night and that I'm waking up feeling rested. And that's something that I feel a lot of people were searching for, not just in the CBD world, but just in general, to get a good night's sleep without taking melatonin or Ambien or whatever these prescription drugs are. And there's people, take other things to sleep, whether it's one of their vices, alcohol, edibles, whatever it is. I wanted something for people who didn't want to go those routes, who don't want to pop a pill, so to speak. They want to take a natural route. So we created tinctures that helped ailments. Our Sweet Wife helps you during the day, get through the day. The Blackjack helps you at night to get some rest, let your body recover. And then another one that we're really, really proud of and, going to be making more of in the future and growing more of this plant is a different cannabinoid. It's not CBD. It's called CBG. And it's what's known as the mother of all cannabinoids. It's one of the hardest plants to grow because it has a lot of weak tendencies, so to speak. If it gets shocked, it doesn't produce as much. It's not a very strong plant because it's one of the original strains, because CBG is where all other cannabinoids come from. And I know I'm saying a lot of words, like you said, that you don't understand and getting into.
I love it, though. It gives me something to read up on.
Yeah. So we decided that we wanted to grow something that no one else in the area was growing. Every shop that I've been to, when I tell them we have a CBG tincture, it's the first time they're hearing of it. People have asked about it, but no one offers it. So we wanted to make sure that we grew CBG and we were able to create a strain specific CBG tincture that is great for so many different things. CBG is good for energy, for anxiety, joint soreness, muscle recovery, mental clarity, cell regeneration, so many things that, branch off into the other cannabinoids. But as you branch off, they get more specific. CBG is a very well-rounded, strong cannabinoid that can tackle a lot of different ailments. It's really, really popular amongst athletes and mixed martial artists, things like that. People who have bodies that constantly pushing to the brink and they have a lot of pressure on them. It's helping them keep the mental clarity to have more focus on the things they need to do to keep their body healthy, as well as helping them recover after their hard workouts, after their fights, all these things that the CBD world barely knows about because everybody's just pushing CBD. That's, it's like the jack of all trades. You can put CBD and it'll help with almost anything. but there is a slew of other cannabinoids out there that are way more specific to certain ailments. And it gets really complicated, you know, words that even I don't understand. And I've been in the industry and I hear these words and I still have to come home from a meeting sometimes and go look up some stuff to make sure that I'm ready for the next one. And I know what these people are going to be talking about, because there's always something new on the forefront. So, you know, with everything always happening on the forefront, and you always want to stay a step ahead, but you also don't want to jump on the bandwagon before you really see where it's going. So we waited and we decided to start with tinctures. First off, as a business, it's the smartest way to go because it's the easiest thing to store. It has the longest shelf life and there's a good profit margin in it. So as a business owner, we had a whole field. I decided with my partners that it made more sense to not focus on smokable flower, which can go bad sooner because it takes a lot more controlled environment to keep it good for a longer period of time. I didn't want our product to go to waste. You know, what my guys worked so hard to grow all season, I wanted to make sure we were getting something out of it, not just financially, but for our pride. We wanted to create something with what we grew that we could be proud of, that we could put our name on and put out there to the people. So we went very small, stuck with tinctures to make sure that we could provide a great product and have it last, not run out of, you know, not, I don't want to say not run out, but not have it go bad before we sell it. So I don't think we're going to have a problem with that regardless, but I was trying to be smart business wise. Now, as far as avenues we're going to tackle in the future, a lot of people like soft gels because our world, our society is so into taking pills already that they have their morning routine of taking this vitamin and this mineral and this and that and all these things that, you know, there's people that just want to do that for two reasons. One, like I said, it's because they're used to it. It's a habit. And two is because not everyone likes the taste of the tinctures. If you go for the all natural taste like we did, we don't add any flavoring to any of our tinctures. So when you're taking our tincture, you're getting the raw plant taste. And it's not very, you know, desirable to most people. So other companies put flavorings into their tinctures and then it tastes like bubble gum or blueberry or cinnamon, apple pie. And I just can't associate those things with health. It's just like they're covering it up and giving you something that's artificial, because you can't put natural flavoring that's going to cover up the hemp flavor. It's artificial and it's not good for you, plain and simple. So we're definitely going to explore the soft gel route because people don't get the taste. They get all the efficacy of the oil without having the taste. So that's our next product that we're going to be releasing. We've already purchased it, bottled it, and we're working on our labels now. So you guys will be seeing that very soon. That'll be something else we add. And then, you know, as we see where the market develops, that's just where we're going to start to pick and choose. We got to see what is doing well for other people and then be able to do that same thing with a better product.
That's the secret right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you do business. Understand what you're selling, understand what you need to do to make it right and do it. And that's what you're doing. It's awesome to watch this because, you know, like I said, we've been friends for 12 years. And I don't think 12 years ago when we first met, either one of us would have ever figured that we'd be anywhere even close to what we got going on now. Nope. It's been crazy, right? And I just love watching it. Keeping It Rio is, you know, we're still growing our podcast, but we've got a pretty decent little crowd. If anybody that's watching or listening to this wants to, you know, see what you've got, and number one, is that something you would even be open to if, you know, if someone in Texas wants to buy some product, shipping and stuff like that? I'm not trying to get you into a situation. You just told me a minute ago you don't want to get to be a worldwide powerhouse. So I don't want to, you know, encourage everybody to do that. And then
we do ship all over the country.
Okay. So if they want to take a look and see what you got to offer and some of the benefits that it can have to them or their loved ones, what's the best way to go about doing it?
You can find us on Facebook or Instagram, Garden of Panacea, our website, gardenofpanacea.com. You can order from there. You can reach out to us through Facebook. We can take Cash App, Venmo, any form of payment, Bitcoin, check, debit card, anything you got that you want to put towards some health. We can definitely help you with that.
I love it. One last question. We're coming up on the hour here. So moving forward with your business, obviously you've got a solid game plan. You know exactly where you're heading. You're going to make it work and it's going to be amazing. At what point do you say, okay, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm ready to move on to the next thing. Is it going to be something that's going to be here for life, or, you know, you're an entrepreneur, and I guess that's what I'm getting at. You're an entrepreneur. This is a different deal than any of the other business ventures that have happened up to this date in life. Is this the thing that you're going to be known for? Is this going to be your legacy that you're going to build with your wife and your family? And ultimately, this is what we're going to know Dimitri for 100 years down the road, when all these healthy people are like, dude, that guy was the reason.
I sure hope so. I mean, I'm very passionate about it. Like, the core individuals that we have in our company, we're all very passionate about it, from growing to the health aspect of it, to, you know, all the behind the scenes stuff, whether it's paperwork or social media or selling. You know, we're all passionate about what we do for the ultimate goal of creating a health, you know, not just a health product, but like a health community. We want to be people that other people can rely on to, you know, reach out to us on Facebook and say, hey, I'm having this problem after I work out and I need something that's going to help me. Cool. We're here to answer questions. When you have an ailment, whether it's, you know, small, like a headache, or, you know, large, like some sort of cancer, CBD, CBG, CBN, Delta 8, THC, all these different things in the cannabis plant can help you. I promise you. And that's what we're trying to put out there in the world.
Boom. Final word here. Okay. Number one misconception you deal with, and explain this misconception right now to the public. You know, a lot of people don't even want to try your products because of the taboo nature of what it is and the old school mentality. What is the number one thing that you deal with that people say, oh my God, you know, I would never do that because, and how do you overcome that with them?
Honestly, more recently, the biggest reason for people not wanting to try it is jobs. And it's only because they're scared that the 0.3% of Delta 9 THC that's legal could possibly show up and they could lose their job. So that's definitely one of the biggest things. And it does make it hard when you're trying to provide a full spectrum oil, because it includes that. But other than that, there's really not much bad feedback besides the crowd of people that have just been against marijuana since day one. You know, whether it's because they're older and they saw back in the day how it was before it became so popular, whatever their reasoning is, people who are against CBD are only against it because they're against the entire idea of the cannabis plant. They don't think any part of it should be legal because one part of it can alter your mind state.
Yeah, I like it, dude. I think you're going to definitely, you're going to kill it, because I do think the stigma is going away. And like you said, there's always going to be a certain aspect that you're just never going to reach. And that's fine. Those people are going to be having pain, and they're going to be taking pills, and they're going to be doing all that artificial stuff. And, you know, at one point they're going to look back and say, damn, I wish I would have listened to that dude, because my kidneys are failing, or, you know, whatever's going on that could happen from that. So I think you're doing a service to the world. Quite honestly, I know that's probably like a, you know, maybe a little bit of a blow up, but you're doing something for the world. You're going to help people. You're going to do something that's going to benefit the masses, and you're doing it for the right reasons. So, dude, I appreciate you to death. You're one of my favorite people, one of my absolute best friends on this planet. I love seeing the success, and I love seeing the passion behind it. I love the fact that it's a family business, because I know how close you are with your family, and you just can't help but root for a dude like Dimitri. So if you guys are watching this, I highly encourage you, look into what he's got going on, look into his company. You're not going to find anybody that puts in more time to understand and know inside and out what he's doing. This dude's, I'm just going to say it, I don't know anybody else. He's the number one authority on the planet, I guarantee. And that's a huge thing, but you live up to it, man. I appreciate you taking the time to be on Keeping It Rio for episode 2. And we're going to do another one in about another 25 or 30 episodes. And we're going to see how we've grown. And by then, you know, it's going to be a completely different universe. So this has been amazing. It's an hour, you know, obviously we could talk for days.
Yeah.
But the hour's good, and that'll keep people interested in coming back for more. So thank you guys for watching. If everybody, that was watching, if you gained anything from this, do me a favor, subscribe, like, share, comment, do the whole thing. And remember, we got Garden of Panacea, and I'm trying to, dude, that's got like your address and stuff on it, right?
Yeah.
You want that on TV?
Yeah, man. That's
right,
where
I respect
come
it.
See us. Come check out the farm.
I respect it. I'm going to come check out the farm sometime in the next year. I guarantee it. I haven't been to North Carolina in over a year. So that's amazing. Appreciate the time. I appreciate everybody watching and the support. And we will see you again real soon with another badass episode of Keeping It Real, because that's pretty much all we bring. So thank you guys.